the best of the week on Relevant Radio.
Today on the show, on this Easter Tuesday, we're going to be looking at proof of the resurrection. Joining us as our spiritual director today is Father Sam Martin. Father Martin is the vicar for clergy for the Diocese of La Crosse. Let's go back to the phones and take one from Timothy, calling in from Vancouver, Washington. Good morning, Timothy.
Good morning. Yes, something that's always raised some concern or doubt in my mind is why Christ, after his resurrection, only appeared to the apostles, the disciples, and not to anyone else. I mean, it makes you wonder whether the story is true or if they're just making up, something to, make the story that Christ had been telling before his death a supposed fact. So why didn't he appear to more individuals than just the disciples?
Well, we don't know everybody that he appeared to, Timothy. It's a fair question. It says that he appeared to like 500, at one point, but nameless people. And then, of course, there are things that happen later on. I mean, Saul, who is, full of implacable rage, he's rounding up Christians. He knows that this is an affront to his own Judaism and they can't coexist, or he doesn't think so. And on his road to Damascus, he, knocked off his horse. It's a very compelling story. You can read about it in Acts of the Apostles, because this is not a man who is inclined to believe in Jesus, anything but. And now he has what you'd say is a 180-degree turn. I mean, who are you? I'm Jesus, the one you are persecuting. And so he's blinded, and he has a kind of a physical healing later. And then he goes off into, kind of solitude, where he probably wrestles with the Lord in terms of like, was I wrong? I mean, I was zealous for the, he's a true child of God. I mean, the chosen people. He's a Jewish man who is trained under Gamaliel, and he receives very, impressive training in Mosaic law and so forth. But now he has this conversion. And who does more good, who writes more of the New Testament, who is the greatest witness in a way in terms of human beings, other than the Blessed Mother and so forth, but that Saul is late to the party, but he'd be the first to say that Jesus appeared to me, out of order, not in the way that he appeared, in terms of right after the resurrection to the apostles, but he did come to me. And his own teacher, when they're rounding up the apostles, they're trying to figure out what to do with these guys because they won't go away, kind of the bane of their existence, a thorn in the side. And Gamaliel has this famous speech, that he says, this is Acts 5:38 to 39. So now I tell you, and this is to the Jewish people that are, constantly rounding up the apostles and other, people that are, just kind of, they won't go away. So now I tell you, have nothing to do with these men and let them go. For if this endeavor or this activity is of human origin, it will destroy itself. But if it comes from God, you will not be able to destroy them. You may even find yourselves fighting against God. And not a bad spiritual principle. Why didn't he appear to more? Well, that's a fair question, I guess. He was never into, playing to the masses. He speaks to whoever will listen to him, but typically he forms a kind of a small group. That was, for whatever reason, his divine pedagogy. And then they would go and make of all disciples. So, Timothy, it's time for you and me to wrestle with these things and to decide, in the end, that no one can give consent for, there's this inviolability of our own conscience that each one of us individually have to wrestle with these things. Is it true? Fair question. And if it is, we should embrace it. If it's not, we should reject it. Very simple spiritual principle. And you will know the truth. It will set you free. By their fruits you will know them. These are things that I think we can decide. I have lived my Catholic faith since I was a little boy, not always very well, and even now I'm not a great witness on certain times and occasions, but I'd have to say that I am a better person living it than if I didn't. I'm not perfect, and I never will be. I can be a very disappointing, role model for people. I know that. But at the same time, I know that the faith has changed my heart in ways that I'd have to say are more tangible at the passing of each year. I can look back and see that maybe I'm a little more childlike, a little more inclined to be grateful, a little more forgiving, and I would say that comes from Jesus, that he's not dead, that he is alive, and that he is still fulfilling his promises. He's still answering prayers. He's still healing hearts, setting people free. So it's a fair question. If he had appeared to more, how many more? What would have been convincing if he had appeared to the whole world? And in fact, he will. You just have to ask him. Jesus said, knock and the door will be open. Appear to us as he did to Paul, that's pretty rare. He can do it. He appeared to St. Francis of Assisi, St. Margaret Mary Alacoque, lots of people down through the centuries. Maybe they're not telling the truth. But if you add up all the people that he appeared to, just like St. John says at the end of his gospel, that there were many more things that he did and said, but if we were to write them all down, I don't suppose all the books in the world could contain them. So, but a fair question, Timothy, and I don't know that gives an answer, but maybe it points in a direction to give us further food for thought and prayer.
That was the Best of the Week on Relevant Radio. The best way to listen to the Best of the Week is on the Relevant Radio app, free and always free. Download and share the #1 free Catholic app today in the App Store.